All right, in this video, we're going to be talking about the differences between major and minor chords. This is going to be pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. Even a lot of my students can get it right away. I try not to get too technical with it. And so I'm going to lead with a couple examples. We're going to start with C and G major. Now, major chords are generally going to sound bright, happy, cheerful, inspirational, uplifting, and minor chords are going to be a little bit more mellow, a little bit more depressed. But with major chords, what I want you to think of is the numbers 3 and 2, and I'll show you what that means. So to give you like a keyboard example, let's start with G major. So I'm going to hold G, B, and D down. And so I want you to just, if you just look at the keyboard and hold these three keys down, what you have in the middle of your first two keys is the three keys that remain standing up. So we got 1, 2, and 3 right in the middle of those two depressed keys. And then for your last two depressed keys, or the ones that are held down, you have 2 keys that remain standing up. And that's just going to be the pattern of major chords. So you can do that anywhere on the piano, and you're just always going to have this major chord pattern. So let's do another one. Let's do C, middle C, E, and G. So C, E, G, and that pattern appears again. We got 3 keys that remain in the middle between our 2 keys that are depressed or held down, and then your last 2 keys that are held down, you only have 2 keys that remain standing up. So again, just think of those numbers 3, 2, and then you can just count keys in the middle of your keys that are held down. So again, 1, 2, 3, and then 1 and 2 for C major. And that is it. You can do this anywhere on the piano. All right, let's do 2 more illustrations of the major chords. Like I said, you can do this anywhere on the keyboard. So let's do all the black keys. So right here, as you can see on my keyboard, we got 3 depressed keys down, starting with F sharp. And then between these first 2, how many keys do we have in the middle that remain up? We got this one, this one, this one, not being pressed down. So that's going to be our major third. So that's F sharp major. And then between your last 2, this is, you got between your last 2 keys held down, you got 2 remaining here that are still not pressed down. So this is going to be your F sharp major. Let's do a couple more. Let's go B flat, D with F. Okay, these 2 are depressed here, held down. And then let's count the ones in the middle, 1, 2, and 3, major third. So we got B flat major, and then the last part of the pattern is between your last 2 keys held down, we still have 2 keys remaining up. Let's go back to F, but let's do just F major. We're gonna do all white keys. These 3 white keys held down. Let's count the ones in the middle, 1, 2, 3. So there's our pattern again for major chords. 3 keys remain up between your first 2 depressed keys, and then your last 2 keys held down. We can count 2 in the middle of those. That makes F major, and that's it. That's just major chords like that. So pretty easy to understand. One thing I like about piano is you can just see wherever you're playing your chords. It's very visual. You can just see what's going on within your chords, whether they're going to be major, minor, etc. So I hope that's helpful. Let's get to minor chords. Okay, so minor chords, these are the guys that are going to sound depressed, lonely, dramatic, even haunting. And the difference between this form is now the thirds have switched. You're going to have 2, then 3 between those notes that are held down. So to give you an example of what I mean, here we go. We have A minor, all white keys. And then notice here's our first third. And this is the shorter third, so now we have those 2 keys right here that still remain up, and then our last third is our major third, which follows. Now you got the 1, 2, and the 3 keys that still remain up. So this is the form for minor chords. It's going to be 2 and then 3. Let's do one more. Let's do C sharp minor here. So we got C sharp, E, that's our smaller third. So we got the 2 keys that still remain up between these 2 keys, the ones that are depressed and held down. And then between our last two depressed keys here, we got 1, 2, and 3 keys that still remain up. So that's our form, 2 and then 3. So this last part is our major third. First part is our minor third, and that's going to be the form for minor chords. I'll throw up a couple more examples here on the board. Okay, one last thing I'd like to touch on is half steps and whole steps. What are they? Pretty straightforward. Half steps is just by definition the very next key on your piano. So I tell students, let's start on F here. On our key F, what's the very next key? And how I like to explain it to students is, well, the closest key isn't G, it's actually going to be this black key right here, because this black key is actually taking up space in your key of F. So this is actually your neighbor key right here. And then, so if we go by half steps, again, which is the very next key to the this way on the piano, which is up. So this is our mid-range, high range. So we're going up on the piano there. That's going to be sharps. So here from F to this F sharp, that's our half step. And so we can just continue going up the piano by half steps. So here we are in F sharp. We're going to go to G. That's also a half step. And then you just continue this by clicking or hitting every note on the way up. And then that's going to be what's known as a chromatic scale. So like here's F on the piano. We're just going up by half steps, hitting every key on the way up. And then if we do that down, then that's going to be by half steps. So here I am on, let's start on E. If I just go to the very next key right here, this is going to be E flat. So here's E to E flat. Going down this way, that's what's called, or what's known as flats. So think of it this way, sharps go up by half steps, flats come this way down on the keyboard by half steps. And then lastly, we're just doing math for when we want to get to a whole step. If we go 2 half steps, that's going to be our whole step. So here we go on F again, we go a half step and then another half step from this F sharp to G. Now we've just gone a whole step. So here's our whole step right there. And then one last thing, let's talk about one more thing. Just to clarify, these are also going to be half steps because these are going to be your very next key. So from B to C, again, a half step by definition is the very next key. B to C here, half step. E to F here, also a half step. And that is the difference between halves and whole steps. And remember, sharps go up on the piano, flats are going to go down on the piano by half steps. So hope that was helpful. Appreciate you watching. If you get value out of this video, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much.